Hi, everyone, and welcome to another episode of MedSchool Diaries, your go-to place to talk about all the good parts, the bad parts, the confusing parts, the parts that no one really talks about when it comes to applying to medical school, considering whether you want to. Excited to be here. I am Olivia. I am a second-year medical student, still hard to believe, getting ready to start my rotations in about a month, and I'm excited to be here with some lovely co-hosts and panelists who will introduce themselves shortly. I'm going to kick us off by reading a quick prompt that will start an interesting conversation, I think. We've got a good variety of perspectives on this one, but it's one you may have heard of. And if you haven't, and this is your first time, I'm going to just give a disclaimer. Do not fall into a rabbit hole Googling this later. Just sort of process it, soak it in, and then you can decide if it's what you want to do. The prompt says, before I started medical school, I had never heard of Anki, and now it's a cornerstone of my existence. And for the life of me, I don't understand how people got through medical school or became doctors before it was a thing. This one's a pretty strong pro Anki view, but we've got some mixed ones. I think we should start with Maddie, who might be in line with this person.
Oh yeah, this person, we should be friends. I think we need to hook up, get together, and talk about our love for Anki. And I'm sorry that you didn't find it before medical school, but I found it during my pre-med journey when I was kind of just watching the YouTube, watching all of the vlogs, and seeing people have some intense Anki setups. Like they have like the vertical computer screens, and they pull out their Nintendo Switch controllers and they're like on their elliptical and they're plugging away at the Anki trying to get their daily cards in. But it looks like they're playing video games all day long. I didn't strive to go that far, but I did resonate a lot with the idea of spaced repetition. So it's not just that Anki is a great app, it's that the foundation behind it. If you don't know what spaced repetition is, it's just seeing things as you need to see them, not taking the whole stack and going through it every single day. And for someone like me who always stresses about, I don't know anything, when in reality, you do know some things better than other things, having something that told me, "Hey, you're okay at this. You don't need to stress out and spend an extra 5 hours going through the cards that you're already good at." That was kind of a lifesaver in a long study process like my MCAT preparation was. I do know it's not for everyone. I said I resonated with Anki because of spaced repetition, but that's because I was like an avid flashcard user in like elementary school and middle school. I was that kid that just like had the nerdy Harry Potter glasses and was just like walking around like flipping through flashcards that I had hand hole punched myself on my little like key ring, and I was just going through them. So it just kind of was like a seamless fit for me, and I know it's not a seamless fit for everyone. I know, Harrison, you probably have a different opinion. You're not a gung ho Anki bro.
Well, first of all, it's nice to know that I'm not so old that the like hole punch keyring flashcard things was around. So it's not that I'm against Anki. Um, I I think it is a very useful resource, and I do use it from time to time. I think it is useful for a very specific kind of knowledge, and that is the knowledge that solely requires just rote memorization. If that is what you need, in my opinion, there's no better resource than Anki because of the spaced repetition that you were talking about, Maddie. However, on the flip side of the coin, I don't think that that is always all that you're going to need. And I would probably go even further and say that it's never been all that I need. I've always used Anki and something else if I have used Anki. So it's really, really good for rote memorization and memorizing facts. I, as a student of anything, of MCAT, of medical school, of I don't know, any of my pre-med classes, I needed to see things fitting together. I really wasn't a fan of just like memorizing and going into an exam having like the facts memorized. I'm just not good enough at memorization to have that be an effective method for me. I needed to see things fit together and how things work together in order to to be able to recall it later and not just rely on the memorization that Anki can provide. And I know that there are people out there that don't use Anki at all. So Olivia, I think you might be one of those, right?
Yeah, I
Yeah.
stumbled upon Anki when I was studying for the MCAT. And if you've seen some of our other episodes, you will know that I was the MCAT test taker that switched my study routine about 5 times. And I had my Anki phase. It lasted about a week. Partly because I'm the type of person where if I'm learning a new study resource, I want to know everything there is to know about it. And so the fact that Anki was so customizable and you could have all these different add-ons and settings and heat maps and vertical and colors, and you could like customize your questions, make your own questions, or use pre-made decks. And it was like I could spend truly hours just learning Anki. And while not everyone feels the desire to do that, I just so happened to be the person where like I really wanted to know every possible option, and then I could like customize it to my needs. But in reality, I wish I had just like jumped right in and started doing it. I could have saved myself some time and really gave myself the opportunity to see if I truly liked Anki, because I didn't give it enough time. 1 week is not enough to know. I found myself using it in also not the way that it's intended. I would sort of, instead of working through questions like fairly quickly and saying, here's the question, do I know the answer, move on, I would like get a question, and if it was related to like some specific part of a pathway, I would have a whole separate sheet of paper next to me and like use that question as an opportunity to draw out everything I know about a certain concept, and then have like that piece of paper screenshotted as the answer kind of thing. Which in hindsight, I was like, why are these cards taking me so long? I've gotten through like 10 today. And I was like, it's because it's supposed to be quick. And I found I did enjoy it. I just simply didn't have the time. And I was like, as much as I like this method that I somehow made up, I don't have the time for it. And so I put it away, and I have yet to open it since, up until about a month ago. And it's because I'm coming up on a phase of my life where there was sort of a, oh, you can use it, but you don't have to. It really depends on what you want to do. And now it feels like everyone around me is like, you're about to study for your shelf exams and your step 1 exam. You just like use Anki in however way you want to use it, but just like it's a tool you should have and know how to use. So I've made a deal with myself to only spend like a maximum of 3 hours in my life learning about all the customizable tools and tips and tricks, and just like start using it. All that to say, I went my entire college career studying for the MCAT, studying for every single medical school exam without using Anki. And they went fine. I'm still in med school. They haven't kicked me out yet. Still about to take all these exams, and gonna start to piece my way towards using it. But yeah, all that to say, we got some mixed views. And also, small plug, if you discover that like maybe Anki is your thing or isn't, but maybe you want to use flashcards, but you don't want to download this like massive program onto your computer because it does take up a significant chunk of space. There are things like Quizlet and other flashcard resources. Or if you want to go the old-fashioned route, go ahead, write out your flashcards. They come really big and in bulk and really cheap these days.
They do.
Whatever works for you.
I was studying with a friend this weekend, and he pulled out the paper flashcards.
Oh yeah.
And he said, "I know I'm a dinosaur, but I like to flip through them."
It's analog. It's vintage. It's all
Yes.
in.